Now, I'm working on a story, you don't know this, but I want to tell the greatest whiskey story ever told. I think about that. Imagine somebody typed in and said, what's the greatest story? Clearly it's the story of friendship and good whiskey. But that was just a part of this video. In this particular video, we're going to talk about flavor, proof, and dilution. Now, Tim, you are on over 500 bottles now being released. How many on this wall, by the way?
A little over 100.
100 here. 100 bottles there, over 500 blends or single barrels. What's the trick to continuing to find the good stuff?
Yeah, hunting for new barrel lots that are super unique. I mean, even yesterday I brought, I don't know what, 7 or 8 samples over to your house. Yeah. Like just always hunting for new lots that are unique, that show you something that you're not used to in a quality standpoint, but also a different flavor profile.
Give me some feedback, and I'm trying to learn more about the hunting side of things. You used to hunt. Yeah, I just brought this out so we can talk about the flavor, man. The flavor. Nobody's drinking this.
Okay.
This is a buff turkey, by the way.
That should be back in my office.
Oh, you left it over here. They're going to find a home in it somewhere, and it's going to disappear.
It looks lower than I remember, too.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody been digging in. Every time they get it, oh, I can't believe Tim left this over here. What's the trick to hunting good whiskey? Because your hunts have now become greater than walking into a store, seeing a single barrel or a store pick and being, oh, I got to buy this so-called name brand whiskey and add it to the shelf or share with friends. Now it's like, how?
Well, the industry is totally changed.
Yeah.
Because before it used to be, okay, now you're relying on some of the main big boys, the main distilleries to put out their allocated stuff, and everybody's chasing that. But now everything's changed. So now you have all these non-distilling producers or distilleries that do have their own stuff, but then they're sourcing in some barrels too. And now there's a lot of people with very good whiskey, and you don't really, like last night we had Daryl, a bottle named Daryl.
A bottle named Daryl, man. Daryl came through.
And it was good. It was 13-year rye, probably in MGP.
Yeah.
But now it's kind of, I don't want to say leveling the playing field, because it's not. It's a different field.
Well, yeah.
But it like they could run away if they wanted to, but they can't pivot like we can. Like we can turn on a dime and change things, find things, release it, like all in the same week. They're not doing that because their model's not set up that way.
Yeah.
But my point is that there's a lot of other brands that are getting exceptional whiskey and putting stuff out that even the larger distilleries either should have or missed it or whatever, but they're really not set up to taste tens of thousands of barrels a week. Not that we're tasting that many, but we're finding the good ones, and when we find them, yeah, we try to buy like 6 to 24 of them, so we have that arrow in the quiver, and then we find something else. So we're buying a little more than what we're bottling, because we're playing the long game and trying to bet on the future.
So when you're putting together kind of like your whiskey journey, and even more importantly, giving people something to like hold on to. Because you keep hearing people, the whiskey's going up and down, but people still buying whiskey, regardless. Mm-hmm. What's the one thing that you think is going to continue to make you unique as you scale up?
Yeah, I think finding those barrels, elevating the guest experience, keep elevating the whiskey experiences.
Man.
So if we create a cool environment, a cool space, bring in fun, generous people, and bring in really good whiskey, all that works.
Yeah.
So
I guess the question is for those that are watching, if you get to see this, what are the things you'd love to see more of? Because I think the Blendery, you guys.
Yeah, I would be interested to hear what people say, because we get really good feedback on the few things that we offer from an experience standpoint. I have a few ideas of new things that we can do and will do. But yeah, that would be good feedback to know what what you guys want to see or see done, or
how they want to experience whiskey.
Yeah.
Because I would have never known about a fill your bottle or a blend or a tasting or how to nose it, the proper glassware. Like, if I was like, hey, I want to drink some whiskey, give me a red cup and pour me some Jack Daniels in there.
Yeah, I think doing certain experiments and having people around to see that, even if you're pouring the same whiskey in, 6 different whiskey glasses like we did a couple years ago, and then, you're trying at them and it's the same whiskey, but it's a different experience through every one, then it opens up your eyes on how important the glassware is.
Yeah, and I think it'd be fun to sit somebody down, pour them thinking like just, you kind of leave them stunned. Say, hey, tell me what you think. They're like, oh, shit, I'm supposed to drink it all? Like, if you're not given instructions, you almost legit, especially if you've never been here, would not know what to do.
I don't know if Richard said this or, but doing like a vertical of all of our Double Jeopardy releases, so people can see how it's basically doubled its lifespan, but how it tastes from early on and how the barrel's influencing it over the years. Like, even though they're sister barrels, I mean, that's pretty fun.
Well, guys, I guess the question is, what's next in the world of whiskey, guys? Stay tuned, keep it whiskey.